Can you find Willy the Worm? Willy the Worm is hiding in every Tamalino story, and he pops up just about anywhere, so keep a lookout for him. The Adventures of Tamalino, Book 5. Tamalino Meets a Stranger. Tamalino and Tumble sat eating their breakfast. Tumble was excited today. She was going to catch the bus back home to Mushroom Forest to see her mum and dad. She hadn't seen them since she came to Toadstool Wood. Tumble had come to stay with Tamalino whilst her mum and dad stayed at home to have the roof of the house repaired after a fire in Mushroom Forest had damaged it. Tamalino was very sad. "What am I going to do for the whole weekend?" he said. "Sammy and Simon Squirrel have invited you to go to their treehouse and play," replied Tumble. "Oh, yes," said Tamalino. "I'd forgotten about that." Tamalino walked to the bus stop with Tumble, and the bus soon came. Anne the tabby cat was driving as usual. Anne had been driving the bus for many years, and she seemed to know everybody. "Hello, Tamalino." "Hello, Tumble," said Anne. Tumble got on the bus. "One to Mushroom Forest, please," she said, giving Anne one gold nugget. Tamalino and Tumble waved to each other as the bus drove away. "I wonder what games we're going to play," thought Tamalino as he walked through the woods towards Sammy and Simon Squirrel's house. Soon Tamalino came to a clearing in the woods, and there was Robin Redbreast, sat on top of an old black boot. "Hello," said Tamalino. "What are you doing, Robin?" "I've just made a new nest in this lovely boot," said Robin, "but now I'm hungry, so I'm going to look for my breakfast." "Oh," laughed Tamalino, "well, I hope you catch a nice big fat juicy worm." And off he went on his way to the squirrel's tree. Tamalino was thinking about how much he was missing Tumble, and wondering if she was home yet. A little further down the path, Tamalino had a fright. Someone stepped out of the trees and onto the path in front of him. It was a long, furry animal, wearing a blue coat and a blue hat. "Hello," said the strange animal to Tamalino. "My name is Sligo Weasel. What's your name?" I'm Tamalino," replied the little elf. "Where are you off to this fine morning?" asked Sligo the Weasel. I'm going to visit my friends, Sammy and Simon Squirrel," said Tamalino. Sligo popped something into his mouth and began to suck hard. He said. "This is so nice." "What is it?" asked Tamalino, very interested now in what Sligo had in his little bag. "It's a lemon drop," said Sligo, rustling the bag. "Would you like one?" "Oh, yes, please," said Tamalino, with his little mouth watering. Sligo handed him a big round lemon drop. "There you go. I have plenty to spare. I've been to the lemon drop tree this morning and picked a whole bag full." "The lemon drop tree?" exclaimed Tamalino. "I didn't know there was a lemon drop tree here in the woods." "Oh, yes," said Sligo. "Deep in the middle of the woods it grows, but it's in a secret place. Can you keep a secret, Tamalino?" "Oh, yes," said Tamalino. "Well, I suppose I could show just you, but you must not tell anyone," said Sligo. "Would you like to see it and pick your own lemon drops?" "Oh, yes," said the little elf, "but wait a minute. I'm not supposed to talk to strangers." "I'm not a stranger," said Sligo. I'm your new friend, and I cannot be a stranger if you know my name, can I? Now, everyone knows you should never talk to strangers, never accept sweets from strangers, and never, ever, ever go off with a stranger. But Tamalino was such a silly little elf, he could think no further than the lemon drop that he was sucking. Of course, said Tamalino, you are Sligo, my new friend, so that's all right then. But I can't be long, because the squirrels will be waiting for me. Sligo smiled and nodded, and taking Tamalino by the hand, they carried on down the path and deeper into the woods. Soon they came to a place in the woods where Tamalino had never been before. It was quite dark, and the trees grew close together. How much further? Asked Tamalino, starting to get very hungry because he hadn't had any breakfast. Just through here, said Sligo. You go first. I'll be right behind you. Tamalino began to walk between the bushes when suddenly he was pushed forward hard. He fell over and heard a loud clunk. What's happening? He cried. Why am I in here? And where is the lemon drop tree? The weasel laughed and laughed. What a silly little elf you are. I've caught you, and now you're going to live in my burrow and be my slave. I will be back later to collect you, said Sligo, as he tied the cage door shut with some thick rope. Tamalino tried very hard to undo the rope, but it was much too tight. He sat down in the cage and cried. What shall I do? Cried Tamalino. I've been such a silly little elf. Tamalino cried and cried until finally he cried himself to sleep. Meanwhile, Sammy and Simon Squirrel had been waiting all morning for the little elf to arrive, so they decided to go and meet him. And as they walked along the path, they met Robin Redbreast. Hello, said Robin. Have you seen Tamalino? He hasn't arrived yet, said Sammy. We're going to meet him. He went past here a long time ago, said Robin Redbreast, starting to get a little worried. I think we should all go and look for him in case he's got lost. I'll go and tell everyone. And off he flew with a chirp. Soon everyone was searching the woods with Mr. Badger the policeman leading the hunt. It was Robin Redbreast who spotted Tamalino as he flew from tree to tree. Oh my, said Robin. What have you got yourself into this time, Tamalino? A very sorry-faced little elf looked up into the tree. I went with a stranger called Sligo Weasel to find the lemon drop tree, said the little elf. But he tricked me and pushed me into this cage, and I cannot get out, he sobbed. I'll go and get help, said Robin, and he flew away as fast as he could. Soon everyone was gathered round the cage, and Mr. Mouse climbed up and gnawed through the rope. At last, Tamalino was free. Oh, thank you, said the little elf. Mr. Badger the policeman looked very crossly at the little elf and gave him such a telling off. Well, I hope you've learnt your lesson, Tamalino, said Mr. Badger. You must never talk to strangers and never go off with them. The little elf looked at the policeman and said he was sorry, and he would never do such a silly thing again. Come on, said Sammy and Simon Squirrel. Let's go and have something to eat and then we can play. So off they went together, and even though Mr. Badger the policeman looked all through the woods, he could not find Sligo the Weasel. The end.